Hi everyone, I hope you're having a great day today, or rather, I hope you had a great day. This is actually your tarot reading for Wednesday, October 24th. I know it's pretty late. It's actually just after midnight here. It's been an interesting day. It's a full moon, so hopefully you had a good day. Hopefully your energy has been in the right place. But because I pretty much missed the day, I wanted to offer you another pick a card video. So similarly to the last time I did this, I will be reading from the books because I am not yet 100% on these decks. I'm not really at the point where I'm ready to read entirely intuitively, although of course I will be adding some of my intuitive feelings in the reading as I usually do. So what we have here today are the Vice Versa Tarot, the Tarot of the Orishas, and the Fairies Oracle. And with each deck, we have a stone to help guide the reading. I don't know if you've noticed, but during the daily readings, I typically will have stones that I have picked out for that reading to help guide that reading. So with the Vice Versa Tarot deck, we have the Smoky Quartz. With the Fairies deck, we have the Titanium Quartz, and with the Tarot of the Orishas, we have the Blue Lace Agate. Blue Lace Agate speaks a lot about communication and thought. The Titanium Quartz tends to be more about dreams and more fantastical energies. Smoky Quartz is a great stone for grounding and clearing your energy. So let's start with the Vice Versa Tarot. So I'm just going to ask what energy the Vice Versa Tarot has to offer to you for Wednesday, October 24th. However, this is a general reading and it is also a timeless reading. This reading can apply to you today, the 24th. It can also apply to you any other time. You will understand more about how it applies to your life as you see what the card is. So let's see. What is your card for October 24th from the Vice Versa Tarot? You have here the King of Swords. Okay, so with the King of Swords, typically it is about the way you think. But I think with this picture, at least intuitively, it has something to do with alignment, with aligning yourself, with putting yourself in a position that is more true to who you are and true to what you believe in, standing up for that. I am seeing that behind you there may be some worries, some losses that you've experienced, but where you are now is you're coming into your own, you're coming into this place of alignment, this place of personal strength. So I'm going to go ahead and read what the book says about the King of Swords on this side. Okay, so a king in full armor stands immovably in an arid landscape, his falcon at his feet. Unlike the knave, knight, and queen of swords, he is firmly grounded, not upheld by the winds and clouds. His sword is also grounded, its point in the solid earth. A butterfly is emblazoned on his breastplate, and his purple cloak emphasizes his majesty. His expression speaks of wisdom as well as strength. This is a man who has learned how to master his temper through long years of self-discipline. He thinks things through rather than acting impulsively. He is well respected as someone who can always be trusted to tell the truth, whether it's what you want to hear or not. His idea of evil is to betray the trust of those who believe your word. He will never break an oath, and he is not likely to forgive an oath breaker. That was the Vice Versa Tarot. Let's move on to the Oracle of the Fairies. So the Fairies Oracle, this deck was a gift, and I don't actually read with it as much as I would like to, but it is quite lovely. So let's see what the Fairies Oracle has for you today for Wednesday, October 24th, or whenever it applies to you. What can you get? What messages are available to you from the fairies today? You have the feline. So the feline is the last card in this deck. And he's got a bit of a mischievous look to him. He's got a bit of he seems kind of like a person who, or a being, who likes to cause a little bit of trouble for people. But the way his face speaks to me is that it's all in order to teach something. He is not trying to cause trouble just for the sake of trouble. He does it because there's something you need to learn. He's a little mischievous, but he is trying to guide you somewhere. Whatever messages he has for you, they speak to what you're doing now as needing correction. So he is trying to tell you that the way you're going right now is not necessarily the way you need to be. Unlike the king here, you're not necessarily in alignment, and he is trying to help you. And he might do that, by stealing your keys and making you late for a job you don't love, or convincing your dog to wrap its ankles around the pretty neighbor's leg, to wrap its leash around the pretty neighbor's leg, and causing a meet cute, anything like that. He's trying to help you get your life in line, or at least that's my intuitive reading. I am going to read from the book. What does the book say about the feline? With the feline, the message is of getting it right, delayed completions, or tidying up loose ends. Brian notes, Brian is the artist, Brian Froud, who is the artist of this collection, and he is the artist of the book, and he wrote in a lot of his interpretations as he was creating the deck, okay? So Brian notes that this is the accusing, offended expression we see on the cat's face, saying, I have my dinner at 5 o'clock. Brian adds that the feline is also known as a slight accusation, or an accusation of slight. One of my cats, that Maggie, is the feline's first cousin and has mastered the family expression. She uses it for all sorts of things, but I have often seen it elsewhere as well. I may even have used it myself once or twice. We know the feline is near, nodding his head, when we hear remarks like, I thought you'd have my shirt ironed for me. You said you'd get the brakes fixed. Or you mean that report isn't done yet? The feline speaks to us when we know we deserve it, but are pretending we don't. His is the voice that whispers in our ears just as we try to settle down with a good book, a new computer game, or our favorite leisure activities, and we experience that old familiar guilty feeling. Alcohol only drowns him out temporarily and gives people hangovers as well, so it's not a useful remedy, although it is widely used. In fact, that particular avoidance tactic usually causes the feline to raise his voice even louder the next morning, in a particularly piercing tone. He makes lists of things we haven't done, shaking his head over them and muttering tisk tisk. These are the things we could and should have taken care of by now, but haven't. This is his job, and he does it well. Sometimes, though, he just wishes we could do our job so that he could go play First One Over the Hill Gets to Kiss the Fairy Maid, or munch chocolate-covered thistles with his friends, or take naps in the heather, instead of having to work overtime, nagging at us. The feline looks out of his card accusingly, reminding us of things undone, promises unkept, and duties unfulfilled. He says that we can't expect to have things go right when we are trailing so much unfinished business behind us. Dragging that stuff around tires us. It uses up energy that we need for other things. If we could just take care of these things that cause so much mental and sometimes physical clutter, we would suddenly find that we have a lot more energy at our disposal to do the things that we really want to do, and probably much more cooperation from others as well. He especially suggests that we take care of the little things that matter to others. We will feel so much better when we have done that, and so will he. Okay, so yeah, kind of what I said, you're not necessarily in alignment as you should be, and he's kind of here to remind you to get back to what you need to be doing. Okay, we're going to move on to the Tarot of the Orishas. Let's see what message the Tarot of the Orishas has for you. I actually got this deck at Witches Fest, in New York, which is an annual event. If you are in New York, I definitely absolutely recommend that you check it out because it is wonderful. You meet so many great people and you learn so many cool things, and it is every year in Astor Place usually. So check that out, and let's see what the Tarot of the Orishas has for you today. You have Zapana, Shapana. I think with this card, you might be hiding something. You might be keeping something to yourself that needs to be exposed, but you're not necessarily hiding it all that well. You could be feeling shy. You could be feeling like if you exposed this information, you're making yourself vulnerable. You're making yourself weak, and you are trying to bring that confidence forward. You would like to, but at the moment, you're just feeling a little bit hidden, a little bit secretive, a little bit like you cannot expose yourself for fear of someone taking advantage of that vulnerability. You might be in a pretty, what's the word? You might be in an unstable place. You might not be feeling as secure in this situation as you would like to be. And I think especially with the blue lace agate on top, the message of this card is that maybe something needs to be communicated, something needs to be let out so that you can become more stable, so that you can feel more free within yourself. So let's see what the book has to say about Zapana Shapana. The meaning of this card brings high fraternal and spiritual sense, charitable and humanitarian power, the spirit of service, strong imagination and organizing mind, strongly sensitive to the pain of others, both physical and spiritual. He is always willing to cooperate as much as possible, and this quality becomes more noticeable with the passing of time. A process of illness that comes to an end, recovery and improvement from a state, interference with joints and bones. Its influence extends to a dermatological level. If you wanted to read this in a bad way, the cards could be interpreted to mean an illness or a psychosomatic process, loneliness and ostracism, silence, self-examination and seclusion, psychological, behavioral, and communication difficulties. An examination should be made by a specialist, a psychologist or psychotherapist. A checkup is recommended. Symptoms, however small, should be observed and referred to your doctor. This book also includes a prayer to Shapana. Shapana Babalue or Omulu, son of Nana Barushu. A garment of straw of the coast makes it difficult to guess your body and image, and allows you to hide under it psycho-spiritual wounds and evil. Those who have faith in you shall be cured of sickness and pain. Atoto, remove all illnesses from me, from my loved ones, and from blank. The same as Saint Roch is asked to do, as Saint Pantaleon is requested to cure wounds, and Saint Blaise is invoked to cure sore throats. I ask you to remove the thorns that would have me bleeding, and withdraw the achings that may disturb me. By Zolrak, Zolrack. Alright, that is your pick a card reading. I do hope you enjoyed this. Like I said, it is a timeless reading, so this could apply to any area of your life. You can choose one deck and let that be your message for the day, or you can choose all three and apply it however you see fit. But those are your messages for Wednesday. Thank you so much. I will see you tomorrow. Promise it'll be on time. Remember always that I love you. Bye.